Hello everyone, welcome to Go Get My Guru. In this session, let's discuss about another subtype of sequence data type, that is range. So what is range? Range is actually a built-in function in Python and it will return a sequence of values mentioned in the arguments. So this is how we define a range in Python. Suppose in the first diagram, observe that I have given range from 0 to 6. So what does this 0 denotes? 0 is your starting value and 6 is the stop value. So when I say range, we have already discussed in list and tuple that it is exclusive of the last number, that is top number. So if I say range 0 to 6, the output will be printed from 0 to 5. That is sequence of numbers printed from 0 to 5. Suppose here in the second diagram, I have passed 3 arguments to range function. First one is start, second one denotes stop, and the third one denotes step. Now what is this step? This step is nothing but it tells to move forward. So how many steps to move forward? Here I am passing argument 1 for step. So you have to move 1 step forward from the starting value. So now let's see what is the syntax for range. So we have range, start, top, and then step. So I can pass 3 arguments to my range function. Range function is mostly used with for loop. So let us now explore how can we make use of this range function with for loop. For that, let's try for I in range. Let's say I'll pass only one argument, that is 4. So whenever you use for loop, just give colon after the end of this for loop and then print this I. So now let's run this and check what it gets printed. So here you can see that values from 0 to 3 are printed. Though I am telling range 4, it is not printing till 4 because always your range is exclusive of stop value. So now here I have passed only one argument. So let's comment this, passing one argument. Next let us see passing 2 arguments, that is start value and stop value. So for I in range, I will give start value as 0 and stop value as 10. Then let us try to print this, print I. Let's run this and check what we will get. So here you can see that we have got numbers from 0 to 9. Next we will see how to pass 3 arguments, that is step value as well. So let me comment this because you will get confused with the output of the next line of code. For I in range, I'll give 1, 10 and then let me say step size or step value, I'll make it as 2. Now let's try to print this, print I. Let's run this line of code and check what it. So here you can see that we have printed 1, 3, 5 and 7 and 9. So why is it printing so? Because we have given step value as 2. After this 1, it moves 1 and 2, it moves to 3. So this was for passing start, top and then step. Next let us see passing negative value to this step value. Let's try this whether it will work. For I in range, let me give 10 to 0 and then I'll pass -2. Now let's print this, print I. Let's run this. So here you can see that 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 is getting printed, that is from reverse order it is printing. So we are decrementing a range here with negative number. So let me comment here, this is for reversing range. Now let us discuss whether we can access a single value from this range. Let's try that. Let's access single value from range. So if you remember, how did we access the single value from list or tuple? Using indexing. The same method we are going to use here. Suppose I have numbers and I'll specify range 0 to 10. Now I want to access third element of this range. So what I will do now, next print this numbers. So now let's run this and check what we will get. So here you can see that we have got value 3. So let me go back to program. Here you can see that I am accessing the third index number. So what is my third index number will be 3. Next, can we concatenate range? Yes, of course we can do so. For that, let me write program and then explain you. Import chain and then I have concatenate underscore result. So here I will give chain function and then I will specify two ranges. One is from, let's say, 5 and other range I'll give from 5 to 10. So next what we have to do is for I in range. So here my range I am assigning to concatenate result. So here I have to mention concatenate result. Then next what we have to give is we have to print the result. So what we have to print? Print I comma end is equal to, use end parameter here and then just give comma. So now let's run this and check whether it works. So here you can see that, let me clear this window first and then let us comment this line of code so that you will not get confused with the output of this concatenating. So here you can see that the range, first range I was having is 0 to 5 and then 5, 6, 7, 8 was my range. So let's go back to program. So in the program, observe here I am giving two ranges. Range 1 is 5 and range 2 is 5 to 10. So my output should be from 0 to 10 because here when I print range 5, it will start from 0 to 5 and 5 to 10. Now let me just explain you this. itertools is a module which is having many inbuilt functions. So here what this line is telling is from itertools import chain. So what is chain here? Chain is a function, inbuilt function which is mentioned in itertool modules. So I am importing this chain function from this module. Then I am using this chain function here. So what this chain function does is, chain function is mainly used for iterable sequences. So we can generate iterable sequences using this chain function. I hope all of you are clear with this itertools module and then chain function. Now that you know basic functionality of this range function, let's try to implement one simple example. Let's try to print multiplication table of 5 using this range function. So how can we do that? So for that, let's say we want multiplication table of 5. So I'll declare number is equal to 5. Next what I'll do is, next let's make use of this range function along with for loop. So for I range, let's give range here. So multiplication starts from 1, for that give from 1 and then you should give multiplication stops at 10. But if we want to include 10, we have to specify here the next number, that is 11. Then give step size as 1 because we want to multiply 1 by 1. Give colon and then next let's define one more variable, product. Product is equal to, what I'll do is I'll take the value n and then multiply with I. So now let us print this product. So I hope you are clear with this logic. So I'll explain you once again. What I am doing here is I am taking a variable called num and I am storing value 5 in that, because we are generating a multiplication table of 5. So then I am making use of range function and for loop here, because multiplication starts at 1, 5 into 1. So initial value will be 1, first value, and it stops at 10. When I say it stops at 10, I should give the next number, that is 11. Then step size is 1 because we are going to multiply 1 by 1. Next I will declare one more variable product, wherein I will store the values of this product. So what is my number? Number is 5 into range. It starts from 1. So 5 into 1, it will be printed first. So let us run this and check what we get. So let's run this. Here you can see a table of 5, multiplication table of 5. I hope all of you are clear with this, how to make use of range function with for loop. So the key takeaways of today's session are, we have discussed about range function today. So what is range function? Range function is a built-in function which returns sequence of values mentioned in the range. Then next we saw about ways of calling range function. So there were 3 ways of calling range function we used. First one was only mentioning a single argument, and then second was passing 2 arguments, that is start and stop value, and third way was passing 3 arguments, that is start, stop and step value. Then we discussed about incrementing range with positive step value, and next we moved on with decrementing range with negative step value. So when we used negative step value, we observed that it was printing from reverse. So we can say that reversing a range also. Then we discussed about how to access single value from range. So we used indexing method here. And then in the last we have discussed about concatenating 2 ranges. So how we did that? We did concatenating using iter module and then importing a function from iter module, that is chain function we have imported, and with the help of this chain function we concatenated 2 ranges. And in the last we have discussed about implementing range function with simple example to generate a multiplication table of 5. So I hope all of you are clear with this range function. We'll see you in the next session. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to receive updates for further videos.